Oh, you got her, dude. She's down.
Let's go.
Dude, I just shot a deer of a lifetime.
Freaking smoked him.
One with nature, and if you're a believer, one with God.
Definitely gets your heart pumping. Boy, you are in trouble.
Fall Obsession Podcast.
All right, welcome back, folks, to another week of our Fall Obsession Podcast. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I am Sam with Fall Obsession, your Fall Obsession Podcast host. And this week, I'm super thrilled to be back on the phone with a couple of our good friends. They have been on the podcast before, and that is Derek Eves and Lacey Val. Welcome back, guys.
Yeah, glad you're having us.
It's always a good time getting to hang out with y'all. So super excited for today's conversation. And for our newer listeners who may not have listened to all of our podcast episodes, like I mentioned, Derek and Lacey have been on here with us before. And if you guys haven't heard their previous episodes, I encourage you guys to go back and listen to those. Episode 30, and then Derek came back on with us again in episode 36. Great conversations, talking about anything from bow hunting in Mississippi to pronghorn hunting, and then Derek came back and talked about hunting in Kansas, some whitetail hunting up there. So go back and check out those episodes. And I don't know if you guys know this, but both of y'all's previous episodes with us are top 10 for most downloaded podcast episodes we've ever had. So you guys got 2 in the top 10.
Sweet.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
We appreciate the love.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you guys coming on. Like I said, it's always a good time. So, guys, I wanna dive in and start off. We're kind of gonna kick things off. Turkey season's wrapped up, and I know you guys, from what it seemed from the pictures and stuff I saw on social media, it looked like you guys had a pretty fun spring turkey season out there in Mississippi.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of action. You know, I probably didn't. Well, I know I didn't hunt nearly as much as I usually do. Lacey's little boy Cole was playing high school baseball, and so that consumed a good bit of time, and for a good reason. But yeah, just the time that we did get to hunt, it was action packed for sure.
Excellent.
One for the books.
Awesome. Well, take us into it. Let's start off with tell us about the first bird that went down.
Well, I guess, man, I the first bird that didn't go down for me. I had some, you know, because I'm one of these guys that hunts that I share the failures and the hiccups and stuff as well as the successes, because that's all part of it. You know, as long as you are hunting, you're going to have some situations where things don't go as planned. But
for sure,
man, I had these 2 birds that I'd hunted them the day before, and they kind of skirted me, and so I went back the next morning and call it that. I guess the hens had roosted in a different location than the 2 gobblers and or toms, you know, wherever you're located at. In the South, we call them gobblers. But anyway, they came in the field, and it's on my YouTube channel actually, and it showed you could see them. They gobble right before they walk in the field, and they have a decoy set up, and you know, so they're eased over there, and they're, you know, one of them strutting, and they don't gobble once they get over there. They get around the decoy, and they're kind of making circles around it. They were standing like 14 yards, and one came back, and when he came back, man, I put the pin right on, because he was quartering to me just a little bit, but I put the pin right in front of where his wing is. And just because the vital on a turkey is really, really small, and just a whole other deal, challenge or whatever. But man, I hit that turkey, and when I hit him, I was like, oh, he's toast. Well, I sat there. He ran off, and so I sat there for a little bit, and so I started getting my stuff together and got out of the blind and walked over there and had there's 4 opposite wing feathers on the ground. So I was like, oh yeah, he'll be piled up here like 30 yards. Well, 4 hours later, I found some blood 200 yards away. And, I say 4 hours later, I looked for that turkey for 5 hours, but I found some blood 200 yards away and never could find that bird. And that was the first one of the year. And it was like, think maybe the second weekend, maybe, I believe. So it's kind of a little bit earlier, season for me to shoot one. And, oh, man, it made me sick. I was dragging knuckles. Lacey had to take me out to dinner to make me feel better. Like, maybe you have to cook me some of that lasagna tonight. I don't know if I can make it. But
some flowers to work on Monday. I mean, he was still sulking.
Golly.
Oh, yeah, it was bad, man. It was bad. But a turkey, when you shoot it, I guess if you don't find them, they'll get under a brush top or they'll get off in a hole. I mean, the thickest of the thick is where they try to hide and hunker down. And I mean, literally, I don't know how many briars I had in my pants and in my skin and in my hands and legs and all this kind of stuff. But anyway, so that's the first turkey I shot for the year. Couldn't find it. Absolutely made me sick. I know the turkey didn't make it since I found blood. So anyway, second turkey of the year, I had them at, I think they were probably about 7 yards. It was 2 gobblers and 2 jakes. I drew back, and the jakes saw some, they saw, well, I won't say they saw something. They saw me drawing back, I guess. And anyway, when they did, they kind of spooked a little bit until one of the gobblers started walking dead away from me, and I put the pin right at the top of his neck, which, of course, there's a lot of bang, 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 quick stuff going on right there. But, he was probably about maybe 20 yards. And I shot, and I cut off about 3 of his tail feathers.
Oh, man.
So that was another knuckle dragging weekend and the rest of the week. But the good thing is my neighbor saw me at church. I don't know, it's probably about 3 weeks later. He goes, "Hey, did you shoot a turkey and cut some tail feathers off of it?" And I said, "Yeah, I think I cut a couple off of it." He goes, "Well, man, it was like 4 of them missing." I said, "You must have killed it." He goes, "Yeah, I killed it." So, anyway, so that was the second bird. And then the third bird I actually shot and killed and retrieved. They came into a clover field and strutted around the decoy, and I had my pin set at 27 yards, a single pin CBE engage hybrid, and forgot that I had it at 27. And of course, turkeys come in there, and I had intentions of shooting low to hit it where I wanted to hit it. So anyway, the first shot went high, and then I remembered I needed to shoot low, and so the second shot I shot him, and he went about 20 yards, maybe 15. So,
awesome.
And that felt great. That's the great thing about bow hunting, man. It's just so much ups and downs, misses, hits not finding, just a different ball game. But man, that success whenever you actually make it happen is just over the top, 150% excitement.
Absolutely, especially when you're bow hunting turkeys too. Like bow hunting whitetail is its own challenge and has its own ups and downs, like you said. But you mentioned earlier, how small just the kill zone on turkey is, and that right there, and their sight and all that kind of stuff presents a whole new variety of challenges for archers out there. So,
yeah, it really does. And we practice and we practice and we practice. But still, man, it's just that heartbeat just gets you out in the woods, regardless of the weapon you're shooting. That heart gets to pumping, and the excitement and adrenaline kicks in. And I tell myself whenever I am anticipating that I'm about to get a shot, in my brain, I'm sitting there telling myself, when it's time to kill, you better be a killer. When it's time to kill, you better be a killer. I mean, that's what I'm saying in my brain every single time. And it's just because I'm trying to make sure I'm honed in, zoned in, and trying to breathe and control the heart rate.
Yeah. I'm glad you finally got a bird on the ground after all that frustration. So.
Oh yeah. These little Mississippi birds, they're kind of squirrely, and they get hunted often. So it's always a blessing to be able to bag one of those. And then not too long after that, Lacey killed a bird, and then she killed another bird. And guess what? Those are Lacey's first 2 turkeys ever.
Awesome. With a bow?
Okay, so I have to tell you the backstory on that.
Yeah.
I'm still fairly new to turkey hunting. This season would have been my 5th season hunting. Derek shared his passion and got me in the woods the first season, and I was just extremely hooked. Now, there have been many, many close encounters over the last 4 seasons before this season started, but I just never could really close the deal. My first 3 seasons, I did hunt with a shotgun. Last year, I had, we practiced so much with our bows, and I just was determined I was going to hunt last year with my bow, and I did have the opportunity to shoot a bird, and pretty much almost the same scenario that Derek described with the first bird of his this season. I shot it maybe back a little bit, and the bird flew straight up, and we heard him crash, but we never could find him. Crashed down in some real thick stuff, and you want to talk about a girl that was on cloud 9 because she had just shot her first turkey with her bow, and I just knew we were going to walk up and find it, and we did not, and I stayed powdered up for a while. But anyway, got the knuckles back up off the ground, and couldn't close the deal last season, so we really started this season, and Derek was like, look, you're going to hunt with your shotgun. We got to get this first bird down, and then we'll get the bow out. So we started this season with my shotgun, and like he said, we really did not hunt near as much this year as we did the previous seasons because of Cole playing ball, and he's about to start his senior year, and just, it's just not missing a minute with that. So, and Derek's real supportive of both my kids and their activities. So we just snuck in hunts when we could. And so the particular day that I got my first bird, it was a Saturday, and we actually were getting dressed for a ball game, and the ball game got rained out. We had really thought about going hunting for a little while before we had to leave for the game, but it was raining, so we did not do that. We just kind of hung around the house, and then got the call that the ball game had been canceled. So we headed out of the house about 10 or 10:30 that morning. So we were actually late getting out in the woods, but just taking every opportunity that we possibly could. So we were going to hunt some private land around in Winston County, and we had some cameras out, and anyway, we had patterned some turkeys, and we knew kind of their routine and what we may be walking into, and sure enough, we got in there, and they were right where we expected them to be. We tried to pull a sneak up on them, and kind of we were hid in behind some brush. And for those of y'all that don't know, Derek is 6'2", and I am 5'1". Derek has a real good line of vision most of the time in places I do not have. And he has a little bit more confidence probably in those situations than I do. I'm still a little bit, I think if you need to be a statue, I'm going to be a statue. If don't move, I don't move. Like, I don't even blink my eyes. But anyway, I was tucked up real good in a little cedar bush, and Derek could kind of visualize the gobblers over that bush, and I never could get a view on them. I thought I had myself positioned well, but hindsight's always 20/20, and literally these gobblers, they were spitting and drumming and gobbling, and I mean, it was just intense, and I just knew one was about to poke its head around where I had my sight lined up at. And anyway, where I was looking at probably was about 15 yards, which I at the moment thought was maybe a little bit further, but not. Derek could probably see about 25 yards, 30 yards out. But probably about 10 yards before they would have gotten into my sight, they ducked into the woods and were never to be seen again.
Oh, man.
So, again.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there, and I can see them walking across. I'm like, bust one. But I didn't. I told her if she could shoot one. But Lacey's also told me, because of previous times in the woods, whenever I can see the turkey, I'm going shoot. and it makes her nervous. So she told me to quit doing that. So I'll do that more.
Yeah, I mean, I told him, I was like, listen, I'm going to shoot if I can shoot. You sitting there telling me, shoot, 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 shoot. I said, that doesn't comfort me any. It makes me shake even more. But anyway, I did not see the birds. They went into the woods, and, you know, needless to say, they were gone. So we loaded back up in the truck, and, you know, by this time, I mean, it was lunch, so there's a little store down the road, and so we rode down the store, got us a little bit of lunch, getting us a new game plan together, because we had planned on just staying in the woods all day long. That's how we hunt. When we go in, we'll, from you know, the start to the last light of day, we're going to be there. So we decided to ride over to one of our camps, and we got out and got up in a spot where we knew some had been, you know, kind of showing themselves. And anyway, got up, and Derek did some calling, and we stayed over there probably about an hour or so, and just nothing. You know, of course, it was the heat of the day, middle of the day, nothing. And, you know, what's happening is my heart's just like, oh, it's just sinking. You know, like you had your shot this morning. If you'd have taken 8-inch step to the left, you would have had turkey in the back of the truck, you know, just some regrets. And so anyway, we got back on, Derek, we were checking cameras again. Well, sure enough, back on this other land that we went to beginning of the morning, those turkeys were back. And Derek was like, get to the truck. So we got to the truck. And we got back to the place where we were at the beginning of the morning. And we got back over there. Turkey's still in the same location. But we had a little bit different strategy then. We parked a good piece around, you know, back from them where they were, and made our way through the woods, just creeping a huge circle back around, you know, the back side of them to come up in the back side. And anyway, by the time we got up to the little opening where they were, you know, and we knew they had been, they had already walked back down into a little bottom there and away from us. But we had not done any calling. You know, we really wanted to creep up and get set up in position and all that good stuff, and be patient. We are very good at being patient.
Yeah.
So we got there on the side, set up on the side of this little open area, and got set up good, hid good. I mean, I felt any turkey hunter out there, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Like, you set up in some areas that you're just not really comfortable in, you know, and you feel a little twisted, and then sometimes you just get, and I mean, I felt like I was in a recliner in the spot that I was sitting in. I was comfortable, I was confident in myself, had a good position, we weren't rushed. So anyway, got set up real good. Derek got set up kind of behind me, across from me and behind me a little bit. And, you know, the thing about Mississippi birds, and especially birds that I've had experience with Derek the last few years, is you can't overcall them. They know what is around them. They know all the turkeys, all the hens, everything that's around them. And you do too much, and it pushes them. So Derek just did a little bit of soft calling, not a whole lot, wasn't very aggressive, didn't do it very often. And, you know, we had been set up probably about an hour or so, and he just, you know, he looked over, I looked back at him, he looked at me, he said, just be patient, you know, be patient. Well, you know, we were sitting there on our phones, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, you know, you hear us spitting a drum, and we're like, oh. Well, Derek was on my right, so he could kind of see the way the turkeys were coming, you know, from a little bit better than I could, and he said, of course, spitting and drumming, we knew they were close, but he said, they're coming. And sure enough, now they never gobbled, but you could tell they were out there just doing a show. And, you know, I got in position to where I knew as soon as it poked a head around and I could see what I wanted to see, that I was gonna take this sucker out.
Yeah.
And you know, it probably, I would say maybe about 10 minutes, you know, before we heard that the first drumming to where he actually got in front of me, probably was, I don't know, I mean, 15, 17 yards. It was not very far at all.
Wasn't it tight?
Yeah, he could come in there real tight, but it was poor bird, because I was locked in. When he came around the little brush there and showed his head, and I saw that beard, I was locked in on that head, and it did not take me but like 2 seconds flat to pull that trigger, and I loaded him up, and there was no flopping. And to say that I was freaking ecstatic is an understatement. I jumped up and was like a child jumping around. I couldn't decide if I wanted to jump, scream, run, walk, and it is just like my whole body. It was the craziest thing, but I was screaming, I was crying. And Derek, of course, he was ecstatic, and we ran around and looked, and I mean, sure enough, the bird, no flopping, no nothing, laying there. Could tell it was just a huge bird, and oh my gosh, I mean, like my heart's beating fast just talking about it right now. But
That's awesome.
the emotions that flooded me, because, you know, we have walked, there's no telling how many miles. You know, we went to Kentucky and hunted turkey, and just 5 years, so many close calls, not getting a bird, but finally seeing all of the hard work, all of the persistence, all of the patience, all of the learning things, because I knew nothing when I first started. It just finally was like, it was just a rush, you know, just a rush of why all of that, why I had sustained all of that and kept at it and pursued, and just the best feeling ever. So I always thought that I might regret not taking my first bird with my bow, but I can honestly tell you, I mean, I wouldn't have cared if it was with a slingshot. It was the best ever. The best ever.
Good deal.
It was, I have a picture of Lacey when she's like, I don't know if you ever watched Bugs Bunny or the Road Runner. And all that kind of stuff. And when the Road Runner, like his wheels or like his legs are running, but he's not going anywhere. That's not what Lacey looked like. She was like running, and then she jumped, and then she just couldn't stop jumping, but she was wanting to run, and then it was a pretty cool deal. And like Lacey said, you can imagine as long as it had been, as much work as we had put in, and have all the close calls and stuff, man, I was ecstatic. I mean, I felt like an elephant got let off my shoulders.
I also have a picture of Derek where he is laying flat on the ground with his arms stretched out like, oh, thank you, God. So that was my first bird. Of course, you know, walking out of the woods that day, you know, I was on cloud nine, never thought that the feeling could get any better, you know, and I was excited, and anyway, you know, we went and showed the bird off, and I went to bed that night just still. I think I smiled probably all night sleeping. We got up the next day, Sunday. We got up, went to church, and then we had a birthday party for one of my nephews, and we out here at my house, which is about 45 minutes from where Derek's house is, and you know, we kind of thought we had planned on hunting because Derek was leaving the next week to go out of town on a hunt, and you know, really didn't know if we'd get another hunt in. We wanted to, but I had killed me a bird, so I wasn't being real particular about it. But anyhow, we got finished at this birthday party and headed back to Winston County, and we had gotten permission for some private land right at the edge of the, Choctaw County, but on the south side of Choctaw County, on the way back to Derek's. And he said, we had all of our stuff in the truck. He said, you want to just slip in there and see if we might hear something. Now, granted, this is a place we hadn't had cameras. We had not been hunting at. We didn't really know what was out there, but any chance in the woods is a good day, right?
Yep.
So we stopped in and really just got set up in a location we thought would be, pretty good, just chancing it. And Derek did some calling and we really had not been set up long at all, and had a gobble. And it sounded real close. And, we both, I think, were pretty much in disbelief, like, really? Really? Because, gosh,
I want to do where you start ducking down just a little bit.
Well, the thing is like, how many places had we been that we knew birds were that we never heard a gobble?
Yeah.
But
Right.
anyway, I don't know how much he called, but it really wasn't a lot. And had not been there probably 45 minutes, and this strutter comes out, and I never heard drumming, and I don't know that Derek did either, but he came out, and then I saw the fan, and I was like, my mind was like, is this real? Am I dreaming? Am I still asleep from yesterday? What is going on? But probably about, I don't know, he was in pretty tight too, probably 25 yards or so, and
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I do have a red dot scope, and I got my dot on him and lit him up. And again, I was just like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, 5 years, 5 seasons, and this is in 2 days, and I'm living in a dream world. But took this turkey out. Again, he was no flopping either, so I'm calling my shots pretty good,
Yeah, I'd say so.
I'm pretty proud of myself. But anyway, he was a pretty good turkey too.
Yep.
Actually, both my turkeys, they both had 9-inch beards, inch spurs. The one I killed on Saturday weighed like 19 and a half, and the one I killed Sunday was 16 and a half. So, but just, we walked out of there that day like, am I living this? I was anyway.
You couldn't tell Lacey nothing.
Yeah, so that's my experience. One weekend, two hunts and 2 birds, and yeah, I'm still on cloud 9. You still can't tell me nothing, Sam. I don't know what he's talking about.
I've never been able to tell her nothing.
that is awesome.
Hey, that's pretty much as close as a perfect season to me, and I don't know that it'll ever get any better. It's just something about deer season is wonderful, and I love it, but turkey season is it's special, and taking those 2 birds, memories I'll never forget.
Absolutely.
Well, on I guess the rest of my season, Lacey kind of alluded to it, was we went on a trip with me and some buddies with to book hunts, and so anyway, we had some places in Oklahoma and New Mexico and Colorado. So we went on a little turkey tour and stayed going for about 9 days. Went to Oklahoma first, and both of my buddies, we got there, and one of my buddies killed one within 45 minutes of being there.
Oh, wow.
And then my other buddy had he probably had, I think he said 12 birds within 20 yards that he couldn't get a shot at, which I don't understand still. But anyway, I give him a hard time about that. But anyway, and I was hunting one bird that we ended up just naming him Spook, because it was just the first morning he flew over and he hit the ground and he was running. And we were set up 200 yards from him, and he still hit the ground running.
Huh.
But anyway, we ended up had 3 gobbling at one place, and anyway, they finally came up there, and I don't think I've uploaded that video yet. I need to do that. But anyway, they came up there to the decoy, and I told the guide with the cage, I said, hey, because they done got quiet, I said, I'm gonna cut down on this mouth call, and he had a little gobble tube, and I said, you hit that gobble tube, and we'll see if they gobble. And so we did that, got down on that cut real hard and all that kind of stuff. And turkeys didn't say anything, and so I'm starting to gather up all my stuff because, when you bow hunt, you got a bunch of crap laying around. And anyway, so he's up there getting the decoys, putting them in the bags, and he gets the decoys in the bag, and then they throw down. It sounds like they were top of it, but they ended up being about 150 yards from us. But anyway, called them up, and they were real spooky coming in. I was kind of tucked into a cedar tree on the ground and got drawn back. And anyway, the turkey was kind of going away to the left. To the right, and he kind of turned right when I pulled the trigger on that release. He turned to the right, and it just cut right off the front of his chest, breast right there, just kind of cut the feathers off it, so I didn't get him, and that made me sick. We looked for him for a long time, but it was not a fatal shot. But that's bad. It's just, those turkeys are moving, and it's just sometimes it can be bad. But then we left there and went on to New Mexico and Colorado, and the first day in New Mexico, I killed one. And actually, as I was hunting out of kind of out like in a little river bottom deal, which was pretty dry, but I was hunting out of an old horse barn. And I had one little gap on the side that I could shoot out of, and that set up in there that morning, and you see the turkeys on the roost. It's just wide open out there in a lot of spots in the particular place I was hunting. And anyway, they flew down, but they didn't come to the side that I had the opening on. So I went back that afternoon, popped up a couple decoys, and sure enough, he walked up in there, and I had my video camera, my little GoPro up on the side of the thing set up to where I could see that it could video that gap. And man, I turned it on with my phone, and so I hear the turkey like it was in Mississippi. When they spit drum, they're just like, they do it like that. But out in New Mexico, whenever they strut, it's like they do it like a poof kind of sound.
Yeah.
Really strange. So anyway, I heard that poof, and I turned around, and it was a shadow coming right behind the bottom of the barn door where the gap was. And I looked, there he was, strutting right around the decoy. And so I got up, and I got my phone, I hit to turn my camera to link up to my phone, and it was like toggling. And after about, probably, it seemed like a minute, but it was probably more like 10 seconds, I was like, I'm not waiting on that toggling anymore. So I put that camera down, and I grabbed my bow and shot, and I absolutely stroked him. He went about 15 yards, and that was pretty exciting for me, just being my first burying with a bow in a very cool location. That New Mexico, Colorado is got to be one of the coolest places you can kill a turkey at.
Yeah.
Or grind, it's just something about that out west stuff that's really, really cool. But that was a good hunt. I actually, the next day, the outfitter wanted me to just kind of hang out with him and look around at different properties, and because he's got some elk hunts and mule deer hunts and things like that. So he's going to show me a bunch of the different properties of where, whenever I'm selling to kind of have an idea of what properties look like and different things like that. So we just kind of spent some time hanging out that next day, and then I went to Colorado the next day and didn't have an opportunity to shoot one. And then, so I think some of my guys in the group started getting a little homesick, so they were ready to go. And, on a trip like that, you have one person says, I'm ready to go, then it just dominoes from there. So I wasn't going to fight it. I said, yeah, I'd killed a bird. I was happy and had a good time. So, but that was the conclusion. Well, actually, that's not the conclusion of my turkey season. Went to Kansas, and me and my brother went up there. I guess it was probably the latter part of May. Had turkeys gobbling, and just for whatever reason, turkey wouldn't cross the creek. They didn't want to come out in the field, or just one of them kind of deals where it just didn't work out for us in Kansas. But we had a really good time, and I got to spend some good quality time with my brother, because that was the first time he and I'd ever been on a trip together, and he had fun. We made some great memories, and hopefully we'll be able to do that again next year, baby.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Well, sounds like y'all had one heck of a season.
Yeah, we were tickled. Hey, I told Lacey before the season started, I said, if you kill a turkey and I don't kill a turkey, I said, this is going to be a successful season for me. Lacey killing the turkeys made my season. I mean, it just
that weight had gotten kind of heavy, got real heavy on him, Sam.
Yeah,
I imagine so.
Yeah. I
Wow.
was tired of all my buddies. Saying, "Hey, do I need to take Lacey hunting so she can kill a bird?"
Finally made it happen. Good deal.
Yeah, we like to have fun. We pick at each other, just I'm a cut up. I like to have fun and act crazy, all that kind of stuff. Except, about the only time I'm serious when I'm working and when I'm turkey hunting. That's about the only 2 times I'm serious, or try to be serious. So
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Good times to do so. So
that's right. This ain't no game.
there it is. So as we turkey season obviously is concluded for everyone, but as we look ahead to the fall, just real quick, what's on your radar for fall hunting?
Well, I put in for Montana and I put in for Kansas this year on for the antelope in Montana and whitetail in Kansas. And so anyway, I got drawn for the Montana antelope, and I know that you did not get drawn.
Yeah,
and you're not alone. So
no, it was a rough drawing season so far on all of our staffers. So myself included. I didn't get drawn last year, and so I was pretty hopeful for this year, and didn't work out. But I'll be living through you up there this year. So
yeah. Well, I was lucky, I had a bonus point, and I think that probably helped out. Montana, they square those bonus points. So,
yeah.
If you have 2 bonus points, it's really like having 4 bonus points. And they don't work like preference points. It's basically preference point just puts you higher in the priority. The bonus point just gets you in the draw again if you don't get drawn the first round. So,
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I was able to get drawn. But man, I had the place that I go in Montana. I had 15 people booked to go up there because the place is just absolutely incredible for speed goats, and for mule deer and for whitetail. But I mean, it's just it looks like a zoo. I mean, it's just crazy, the alfalfa fields, and they just flock to them, and they're hitting those water holes and stuff. But anyway, so I got drawn for that one, so I'm headed back up there. I know had a buddy of mine from North Dakota, speaking of the Montana side, also, if it makes you feel any better, Sam, that he had 12 of him and his buddies put in, and they have put in for years. And he's like, we've just always said, well, that's just, we're going antelope hunting in Montana this year. They just, because it's like 99% chance of being drawn. And he said, and 12 of us did not get drawn this year. He said, none of us got drawn this year.
Wow.
Out of the 15 that I booked to go up there and hunt this year, I've had, I think, 9 not get drawn. And we're talking about a place that has historically been 98, 99% success to get drawn. So It was really, really a big letdown because, I mean, I had some buddies, some of my best friends were going to Montana with me, and just, we're all looking forward to that, just like you and Nick do on the, trips that y'all take and stuff that y'all have going on together. It's just good guy time and stuff. But also I put in for Kansas, and there again I had 3 of my best friends and Lacey. We were all going to Kansas this year. And Lacey and I, because I knew if I didn't get drawn, Lacey would not want to go hunt by herself. So we put in as a group this year. But anyway, so my 3 buddies got drawn, but Lacey and I didn't get drawn for Kansas. And of course, we were going back to the same place where I killed that 170-inch deer last year, and so we were all pumped up. And I mean, I got a new elite bow encore set up with some heavier arrows, 500 grain arrows, and then practicing, just licking my chops, just dying to wait to get that tag in my pocket so I could really ramp it up on practice and everything. But anyway, so we didn't get drawn for Kansas this year, but on the flip side of it, we have preference points for next year, so
yeah,
we'll have an opportunity to do that. But man, it's just so many people. There were 7,000 more applicants for Kansas this year. 7,000 more than their highest year ever.
Wow.
So it's got to be the same thing for Montana and Idaho and Utah and Arizona. I mean, all these other locations too. It's just people are, I guess with COVID being over, so to speak, people have just been sitting in and not doing anything, and probably had to cancel a bunch of hunts last year. People are just getting out and doing stuff. I mean, Lacey's been looking for a condo at the beach for us to go on a little vacation, and none of those are available. Everybody's getting out and doing stuff.
Yeah, man.
I know I have booked I've booked a ton of hunts from like about November until about March. My phone has been blowing up to book a hunt. So people want to book hunts. We're going to meet all animals, all species. So I had, but I just never dreamed that it would be that many people putting in for their tag applications.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy, man. Yeah. I was going to say that, that whole 98-99% thing, that's going to change when the new statistics come out, because there's I've heard not just Montana but all the states, as you've reiterated, it's so many people not getting drawn, and I don't know what it is, but a lot of people wanting to hunt this year apparently. So
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
You talking about booking hunts, that's a good transition into, I wanted to give you the opportunity real quick before we start wrapping it up to kind of talk about 2B Outdoors and what you guys are doing over there, and how people can find you and get in contact with you and all that good stuff.
Yeah. One thing before we get on to the 2B real quick.
Yeah. My
buddy, I've got to mention it because he's such a good dude and he makes such a great turkey call. My buddy Stephen Kofelt with Keep Strutting Custom Calls. That's exclusively what I use, and I help promote him because I believe in the product and also believe in him. And he is just a solid dude. And I don't know, Sam, if you have any affiliations with any turkey calls. I haven't seen anything like that, but I at least want to give him a little plug just because of the partnership that he and I have together. He goes with me on a majority of the turkey hunts that I do, and he tells people, to call me for hunts, this, that, and other stuff. Anyway, again, Stephen Kofelt, Keep Strutting Custom Calls. Check him out if you can. So, but anyway, back to 2B Outdoors. 2B, man, I have, this morning, I got up about 6:30, started about 7:30 talking about not getting drawn for tag applications. And so I've been redoing contracts because the deposit, so I puts in for a hunt, like the archery antelope hunts, they roll over into the next year if you don't get drawn. But man, I've been like literally until we got on this call here at noon, I've been redoing contracts, putting 2022 dates and that kind of stuff. And I've been booking mule deer hunts. I've been booking bear hunts, whitetail hunts, where people starting to kind of get their brains geared towards deer season. I don't know how many turkey hunts I booked this year. We're Lacey and I are actually looking at doing an African safari. We have a couple outfitters out there that are top notch. One's a little bit of a smaller outfitter, and them are generally the ones that I kind of gravitate to anyway, just for various reasons. So we're trying to work through some of the African safari stuff for Lacey and myself. We'll be going to Kentucky to hunt this fall also. It's over-the-counter tags. But I mean, yeah, dude, from New Mexico, Colorado, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Iowa, Illinois, Michigan, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kentucky, free range, high fence. I mean, whatever floats your boat, we have a vetted outfitter for that. And by vetted, what I mean is it's either places that we've been to personally, or either somebody that we really trust has been to and says, hey, yeah, you need to call these guys about getting some hunts because I had a wonderful experience,
Yeah. Well, good deal, man. Yeah, if you guys are, for our listeners, if you guys are looking to book a hunt or just want some information on, what it might take to go on that trip you've always been dreaming of, you need to give Derek and 2B a shout. It's a good thing they got going on over there. So,
Yeah, we have fun, and you've sent me an outfit to talk to and get some stuff lined up for, and I appreciate that too. So, but yeah, if somebody's looking for a hunt out there, regardless of the species, you can reach out to me. I'm Derek Eves on Facebook, D-Rocks Outdoor on Instagram. We also have a D-Rocks Outdoor Live page now. And Lacey and I kind of work both on that. Lacey primarily does all the work on it, but I assist her some on that as well. But we also have the To Be Outdoors page. And if you have a pen and want to get it out, write my phone number down right now while you're listening. It's 662-803-2001. I'll be more than happy to help you, and I'll try to steer you in the right direction.
Excellent. Well, good deal. Appreciate you you discussing that and bringing that up for us. Real quick before we wrap it up too, just because we do, like I mentioned at the beginning, we do have some new listeners that might have not heard y'all's previous episodes. What's going on with Mississippi Bowhunters Association? How's all that going?
Well, it's super busy. We really, again, we have had I think we previously talked in the other episode about the airbow bill here in Mississippi that was attempting to be passed through the House that we were able to squash. Well, since we've talked the last time, that has come up again, and we were able to be successful once again in suppressing that. So that's probably on the legislative front. That's been our big ticket item over this last year or so, just keeping that down. As far as membership, man, we are growing. We have had a ton of new members join. We are working really hard to keep our communication just a little bit more fluid, go more electronic with things, updates. Of course, Derek does all of our social media. He does a fantastic job of representing us and making sure that information is pushed out in a timely fashion there. We've got an excellent group of ladies and gentlemen on our board, and we have recruited some new area managers to help us in different parts of the state. It's just a little bit easier when you have people strategically placed through the state that know their area and know people and are able to we're able to have reps in those areas that if there are issues that come up or people need somebody, right there for them, there's a face for us there. So that's something that we're extremely proud of. We have really boosted up the merchandise side. Of course, we try to remind everybody that we are all volunteers for Mississippi Bowhunters Association, and we are just in it because we love it, because we love bow hunting, we love archery. We've gotten some new area directors that are one individual, Jaden Jenkins, is going to be more our 3D archery person, so that's exciting. And Michael Manley is also a new guy that we've brought on, and he's more in the southern area, Jackson area. So just wanting to make sure that the traditional archers are represented, the 3D archers are represented, that our bow hunters are represented, and our youth is represented. So it's just, instead of being one facet, of archery, we want to encompass all of us because it's a community, and be a representative for every entity out there that makes up bow hunters as a whole. So if you are interested in seeing what we do, interested in knowing more, our website is www.mississippibowhunters.com. You can reach out to myself. I'm the membership coordinator. Again, like I said, Derek is what is your direct title, Derek? What is that?
Public relations / media director.
There you go. That's the official title. But you can reach out to either one of us, and we will be happy to answer any questions. The information to contact Derek is just like he said before, either on Facebook, Derek Eves. I'm Lacey Vowell on Facebook. I'm Lacey Vowell on Instagram, D-Rock's Outdoor Life for Derek on Instagram. But we will be happy to answer any questions that you have. And if you shoot a bow of any kind for any reason, we would love to have you be a member of our organization and reap the benefits of that. So.
Excellent. Yeah, guys, if you guys are local there in Mississippi, be sure you go check them out if you haven't already. So, well, guys, that's the end of my notes and everything I have for us today. Unless y'all have anything else you'd like to bring up or discuss.
Yeah, one thing I've been kind of looking for, maybe a couple guys out in Texas if they had, maybe a new lease in the northern part of Texas. I mean, Lacey loves to hunt Texas. I just don't see if you knew anybody.
Man, I don't know. I'll have to ask around, and see if I know anybody around here that's got a property like that going on. Maybe they got a few too many hogs on the place, that they might need some help with. So,
Hey, I'd love to take a hog out with my bow.
Well, as we get closer.
Okay, hey, congratulations on the new property for you, Nick. Man, I listened to that episode. I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago, whatever it was, when I was on the road working, and man, I just hearing all the stuff with getting the family and the wife and the kids and stuff involved. Man, that's just that's good stuff, man. I'm proud for you guys.
Yeah, man, we're pretty stoked. It's gonna be a lot of work for us getting it going, cause like we talked about in that episode, it's raw. It's never been hunted, and there's nothing going on out there. So we're starting from scratch, but it's gonna be good. It's got a lot of potential, and I see it being a good thing for us in the long run. So I'm pretty pumped and ready to get out there and start working in this Texas heat. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I enjoy y'all's podcast, man. I listen on the regular, and I tell you that part 1, part 2 of that brown bear hunt, man, I sent you a text when part 2 comes out. I got to hear it.
Oh yeah. No, man, and you weren't the only one too. Like I was getting blown up about that episode as soon as we started dropping it. And for our listeners who may have not caught on to it, episode 63 and 64, go check those out. It is one of the craziest hunting stories I've ever heard. So definitely worth the listen.
Yeah, I mean, it had my heart beating. I was just sitting there it was almost like I was there. I mean, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
I appreciate them sharing. I can't remember their names, but I really appreciate them sharing that. That was cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've got a lot of awesome recaps and a lot of stories, especially here recently on our podcast. So and with that, we'll take it into closing. But if you guys haven't already, hit that follow and subscribe button on whatever podcast app you guys are listening on. Our download numbers and our listeners continue to increase and go up, so we really appreciate you guys. Really appreciate folks like Derek and Lacey taking time out of their day to come on here. This is not the first time that they've been on here with us, so be sure you go back and check out episodes 30 and 36, the last couple times that they've been on here with us. And we got a lot of pages and social media accounts that were brought up in this episode. Go follow them all. Fall Obsession, To Be Outdoors, Mississippi Bowhunter Association, Derek and Lacey's pages. Go give them all a follow and check out what everybody's doing out there. A couple YouTubes you guys can subscribe to. One is us, Fall Obsession, and then also Derek, as he mentioned, he's got his own YouTube channel rocking out there, D-Rock's Outdoor Life, I believe. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah, go.
A lot of this ain't no game on there, baby.
Yeah, he's got some awesome videos, awesome content, trying to grow that channel. So you guys be sure you go give him a subscribe as well as us. You can go to fallobsession.com. That is the hub for all of our content. We have videos, reviews, podcasts, other forms of educational content on there, and more. We also have some new summer apparel. We just rolled out a new American Pride logo t-shirt, and it is in stock now, so we're starting to ship orders out. And they're selling pretty quick, so all you guys listening, be sure that you guys go and pick one of those up, sport it this summer. And finally, on our website, fallobsession.com/podcast, that page is the hub for our podcast. You can access all of the different apps that we're listed on from there. And you can also, there's a form on there you guys can fill out if you have questions, topic suggestions, or just general discussion that you'd like to bring up. We're happy to mention it or discuss it in a future episode. So if you have any feedback for us, that's the place to give it to us. Derek, Lacey, always a good time, guys. I really appreciate y'all coming on with me today.
Thank you for having us. We enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure, Sam. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, we'll be doing it again at some point in the near future, I'm sure. So appreciate you guys. All right, everybody. Thank y'all for listening. We will catch you guys again next week for another Fall Obsession podcast episode.